Hey, welcome back to the most innovative shipping container channel on YouTube. And behind me, we've got a double 20-foot high cube container build we're doing. And this is actually going to be our new office, but we're going to showcase a few things on this unit as far as like the deck and the window shutters that we can do. And so I'm excited to get this office done. And I just did a short, but we had an office. The 20-foot was definitely too small. So that's why we went with two 20-foots, and the two 20-foot had a better footprint for us than one 40-foot as far as width, where it goes in our lot. And so this double 20-foot is going to give us 320 square feet of very usable space. And with it being two high cubes, you know, obviously it's a foot taller. It just feels a lot bigger. And as you can see behind me, it's got the staircase, and we can see the mini split. So we're going to flip around and take a look at this, and we made a lot of progress on it. We've got a lot of big projects going on, so we're kind of bounced around here and there, and we hate to do that. But I want to show you guys the progress we've made on this office, and it's kind of starting to come to life. So let's flip around and take a look. So we've got some really innovative stuff on this container, and the deck is one of those things, but we'll make our way up to that. So the staircase. This is a staircase from Boeing, and obviously, this is a regular, basically profile staircase, regular steps, which don't fit on especially a high cube container. When you put stairs on a container and you want to keep them at 8-foot width, you basically turn those into a ship step, which are very steep. And so we had the staircase laying around, and I don't plan on shipping this container anywhere soon. And I mentioned shipping because this is now a wide load because this is welded on. And as you can see, it sticks off the container, 2 feet. But I wasn't concerned about that because if I ever do sell this, we'll just wide load it. But that's just not a concern right now. We had the staircase here as a regular staircase, and I wanted to use it, so we used it. So we got this from, the staircase went to a local scrapyard via Boeing, and so it's a very nice, it's like 3/8, ½ inch. Super heavy duty. I mean, it's really heavy staircase, so it's very nice, and so we get to use it on this project. But we had to stick it off the end here, and we used 3D models to kind of see where this thing was going to land. So this is about how we expected it to go. It does give us a very small landing at the top, but I think we're going to extend that landing out to another container. So we'll work our way up there, and I'll show that to you. But we did weld this on. Bolting staircases on is a good way to do it, because you can remove them and then you can make the staircase not basically a ship step. You can make them longer like this, and if you bolt them on, then you can remove them. But when you're finishing the inside of the container out with spray foam, bolting them on is not an option because you can't get to the bolts after you finish the container. This container is getting finished, so we are welding these on, and so if you're putting steps on a finished container, you're going to weld them, in my opinion. So I will walk up the steps here, and you see we've welded to the corner casting there, and these corner posts here are called your corner castings because those are actually cast. And we've welded that attach point there, here, and here. And we try to get all that stuff primed because some of these sit outside for a little while. So what we're doing on the deck here is, I think eventually we're going to put a stack of container up here, and we're going to do a landing over to a walk door on that container. But initially we're going to do kind of a wonky landing that's just going to go onto this deck. But what's really cool about this deck, we've got these clamps. So you flip those, and this entire deck is removable. So it does float. So we're going to have to reinforce it. But being able to take this deck off and ship it is very nice. And that keeps you from having to do folding handrails. Because with your handrails welded on and your deck welded on, you're over height. And you don't want to ship over height. It's even more complicated than over width, generally, due to bridges. So having this removable is going to be really cool. And if I ever sell this container down the road, it's probably going to be a 4-piece unit. So your 220s would go on one truck, and your deck and your other 20-foot that goes here would be your other truck. So this would be a 2-truck load. So what's really innovative about this deck is I haven't seen anybody use these clamps. And these are the clamps that they would tie the containers down on the ship to the ship floor with, and we've flipped them. So these generally go on the bottom, we put these in the top, and so they're upside down. And then this is a 2x3 metal. So what we're going to do is run a 1-inch bar at the bottom here, and then use a true 2-inch nominal deck board, and that's going to give us a flush reveal here at the top. And then we're going to run, I think, two 2x3 braces across the middle, and then we're going to get this on the floor and see how bendy it is. It's a little bit bendy right now, as you can see, looking down that 20-foot span. And I could have used a thicker wall 2x3, but I don't think it would have taken all the bend out. So we're going to have to do some feet on this, I think. So we're going to figure that out. But my idea was to do folding handrails, but at this point, I think we're going to do just welded on handrails, since this is removable. It's going to go as a separate piece, and this will be our container for quite some time. Okay, we are back down off the deck, and we actually built these little cribs, and we like to put the container on these cribs, and it keeps everything level. And then the big advantage of that is being able to use our laser inside for framing and windows and all that. So if the container's not level, you can use the laser, but the laser blinks if you tilt it and get it level, and you have to figure out what's level. But if you're close to level, the laser will be level, and you know it's level if it's not blinking. And the laser is really nice for lining up cuts and frames and mini split mounts and all this other stuff. So like I said, this is two 20-foot high cube units. We've got a C-clamp down here to keep these in position. We run a gasket in between these containers when we put them together, and then we run the gasket on the top as well, and then we put sealant on top. So that's all to prevent leakage. On the inside here, you can see our 2x3 framing. We've got this big 72 by 60 inch window. We've got a 48 by 36 in the back. We've got one mini split, and the miracle that no one would believe is this entire unit is going to, again, run off one 120 volt, 15 amp extension cord. The reason being, we're running our 20-foot office that we just had off an extension cord. The mini split, refrigerator, a really nice GPU graphics computer, another computer, and a space heater, and we were good to go. Still didn't flip the breaker, and this 12,000 BTU mini split, it's a Della, D-E-L-L-A, was absolute overkill for 120 foot, and it's got a heat pump and air conditioner, obviously, because it's mini split. So we're going to be good in this unit. The LED lights don't take hardly any amperage at all. So you'd never believe it, but this whole thing is going to run off an extension cord. And since we're running conduit on the inside, if we want to change anything later or run it 240 volts, we can do that. It's just not a big deal. But I'm confident this is all going to run off an extension cord. So it's getting kind of ridiculous what we're running off an extension cord. So we are going to spray foam this next because we're running conduit. So we're not going to do Romex in the walls. A lot of the customers prefer Romex, but we're going to do conduit on this. The reason being, and these aren't mated all the way up so you can see a gap in here, is because when we hook these together, we're going to have a box right here and then hook the power to this unit, because the hookup and all the power is coming from the back unit. So our power input box is going to be on the back. So we're going to have one junction right here, and that's going to power the lights and outlets in the front unit. So the only thing we have left to do is cut in a walk door here, and we're actually going to use an exterior style home door instead of our steel door on this, so it's got windows in it. And when these get mated together, we're going to have shiplap for finish. We're going to trim out the joint on top, and we're going to use screws, so that's removable later, so you can ship these separate and it won't affect anything. We're going to paint the floor down here black, so it matches the floor. The factory vinyl floor. You can see with these butted up, you have a little bit of a gap, and these will come tighter when you bolt them together. Those bolts will suck these in, but we put that gasket in there and that seals that up, and that's a vertical anyway, so you don't have water intrusion. But for this other little gap down here, we're going to run like a T vinyl strip across this. I think is the best solution I have right now. On a garage unit, you don't really worry about that because it's a small gap and it doesn't affect anything. But for a finished out insulated unit, we're going to close that gap up. So I'm going to show you guys the walk door and what that kind of looks like. So this is just a typical garage or home, you know, sort of a basic just entry door. And so you've got your brick molding and your casing for your door. So all we do is build a metal frame a little bit bigger than this casing dim, and this is a 36 by 80 door. So with the casing, it comes out to like 37. So the inside of our frame for this is like 37 and a half. And this door will just bolt into that frame. And I'm looking around. Oh, here's the frame for it. So this frame is going to go, this is 2x3 steel, and this will go in the same way as our other walk doors. We just don't have hinges and the door welded to it. So we'll weld this frame in, and then that door will just bolt screws through the side into this frame. So it's about the same install, but this door for this unit, you know, you don't have the security of a 36 by 80 steel door, but this is an office, so having the window in that door will be nice, and so it's more of a home finish style door. So while we're over here, you can see the support we welded on for the stairs. Just a real simple 2x2 1/4-inch wall support there, and then you can see the mini split. We like to mount these mini splits up higher, so when this is on the ground, you're not walking around the corner and bumping your head. The only drawback to a mini split is someone could come steal the outdoor unit, I guess, if they wanted to. So on more commercial applications, you can box the mini split in, or you can just use a P-tack in that situation, which the P-tack is the 42-inch wide unit that's all included in one unit and just slides into a hole. I just don't like those if I don't have to use them because they're not near as efficient as the mini split. And this Della brand has a really nice Wi-Fi app that you can use to control temperature while you're not there. And it ties in with Alexa and all that other stuff. So the mini splits are just way ahead in efficiency and technology and all that of anything else. And there's no window unit that will keep up with even a 20-foot container. So drop comments, questions if you got them. Thanks for watching. We've got a bunch of other projects. I'm going to try to do videos and get caught up. And I hope you guys have a good weekend.